All right, so we don't have a group assignment to go over right today, so I'm gonna because we did the code check thing, right? So I'm gonna go first go check the programming assignment for module 6. First do that. This one, right, guys? First, make sure you have done this. Okay, I still need to post that code though. Anyway, so make sure you do this one first. We did that last Thursday, right? And then recording is there already in Canvas. So if you couldn't get it done, check that recording. Okay. So before you try it, right? Because this one is exactly similar to that practice assignment that we did last Thursday. Okay. So it will be really easy for you to follow the exact pattern into this new one. Okay, so that was the whole idea actually. And also I added this reflection to 4 modules. Please take your time to do them as well. Okay, so let me open. All right. Okay, so I think I put the data table there as well. I figured out how to do that. So click that button, right? So yeah, it's there now. Okay, because I saw that some of you guys didn't know where the data was, right? Because it was not showing here, right? But if you feel like that, like, you know, always check Canvas, because Canvas assignment should have that. Okay, so and then take a look, your output need to match this way, this format. Okay, so and once your program running without syntax error, then if you are still getting, like, you know, error kind of red, if you see stuff in red, so that means even though you don't have syntax errors, still your output is not matching. So right, the reason is, you know, it's not a man or intelligent AI autograder, right? It's just a dumb autograder. It's actually take extract thing, I set it there, and it's actually looking for that from you as well. Okay. All right, so few things here. It's okay just filling this one. See that this whole thing is a big doc string. See that, right? Starting here, ending there, and then starting here, right? But I still recommend for you guys to do this way. Okay, because maybe I don't know, maybe there are future assignment I didn't do that way. All right, so I still recommend doing it this way, right? Like with the pound in front. Okay, so it no harm. Okay, but without that pound sign, this also works, because again, this whole thing is a big doc string. Okay, so see that right here, ending right here. Okay, all right, so I recommend using the understand and doing some workout here and then put in the match, but they are not required, but highly recommended. You need to have the plan though. Okay, so and then right here you write def, your function name, you pick whatever you want, but make sure it's expressive. Okay, and then you implement, right? So let me tell you something else, like, you know, def and let's say your function start with Muni M, right? And then you have like whole bunch of thing, and then colon, right? And then make sure to align your next line to the first letter of function name. Okay, right? Even though code check shows you probably it's one ahead, right? Like the one before, just go like this, and then sorry, this, and then go align that. So that means the doc stream should come start right there. Okay, and the other codes, other subsequence codes. See that I have it in main, right? See that pound is aligned to M, right? Okay, so and then you replace your you know other code in main in here. Okay, but I see that in your other assignment, guys, many of you still don't read my instruction, right? And this particular one, you don't use input function to collect data. Okay, we did that in week 5, right? Functions one, right? So you had to use, right? The reason is, input function is not the sole way of collecting input. The most simplest one is you assign values. Just take the value and assign, give it a variable name, and then assign the value, or directly pass it to your function, right? And that's what I said over here. So read my instruction. Line 75 says assign the 3 data to 3 variables and pass them to your call, right? Function call. Okay, and it's test case 1. So you go and use the first line. Okay, 3 data. Here's the 1 data, the other data, the other data, the 3 data. So test case 1, 2, 3. Test case 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so and then follow that instruction. Those are helpful instruction. If you follow, take some time to read them and then make sense of them, it will be easier and you will save more time later, right? So trying to do something blindly, thinking that you can get away easily, no, you end up wasting more time because you are trying things blindly, right? So that's why. Okay, and here test case 2, test case 3, right? See, I'm really explicit, right? So and then you know what to do then. Okay, and then right here, what do we call right here? Should be main, right? So and then that also I have given line 88. Okay, I see that some of you guys don't know what to do here. We have been using this pattern for 3 weeks now. Okay, even in Turtle code we have that, right? Pretty much software engineering out there also use that pattern. Okay, so that's why we are getting used to that. Okay, all right, that's it. Okay, and you still stuck, don't give up there, right? We are here to help. So it's maybe an email away, or you can join the Friday 10 to 11 office hour. Bridget has her own office hour, right? Until 10 p.m. the tutor Scott is available. Hop in Zoom, right? So those are the help, right? So you cannot complain. If you are stuck, can go from anywhere from there, so you don't know what to do, that's the point you should seek help and take that action. Okay, and if you don't do that, and then consider you're not doing right thing in this class. Okay, so for coding you need helpers. Okay, especially for beginners. Okay, all right, so so let's continue our lesson, guys. Any question on this one? If you have questions, you can ask now. Right now you can ask from TAs. Okay, so in particular to this one. But if you didn't do the practice one, make sure you do it. Okay, and then recording should have, you can follow my recording and do it as well. Okay, all right, so let's go to our lesson, guys. So we were actually right here, right? We finished objects. So let me check this one. Okay. Numeric types. We already have been using this, right? So there are 2 types of this is basically, we already discussed the integer type, right? So the other format is just regular fractional numbers, right? With the decimal point. So we call them floating point numbers. So something like this. And then if we, like, for example, if we use a value like this, and we call values literals, right? So in particular, we call them floating point literal. Okay. So if we use this value in our code like this, we call it floating point literal. Okay. So all right, and then so there's a scientific notation, right? And then this is how you actually write it. And then what is this number anyway? Does anyone know what this number is? What is this number? Yeah, this is a unique number actually. Anyone? Those who have done chemistry knows. What? No. Yeah, Avogadro's number, right? So if you take, like, for example, if you take 18 grams of water, this many water molecules in there. Okay. So that's actually a universal constant. We call it Avogadro's number. I really remember this one, because when I first get into United States, the visa officer asked me this. So if I failed, yeah, I gave this correct answer, I basically would not be here. I mean, he shouldn't be asking this question, but I already qualified, right? It's a visa interview, it's not the chemistry interview, but they sometimes ask those things too. So yeah, so that was in 2003. Yeah. So I'm a citizen now. So I got naturalized in 2021, the COVID time. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so let's do some of these. So I'm gonna copy this one, and so let's go over here and right here. So print. So this is the syntax notation for printing in scientific format. Okay, so let's print this one. See that the E is E stand for the exponent, right? So I think it's for decimal power. That's notation, right? So basically we have this, right? So so we have this 10 to the power 23. So that's whole thing. 10 to the power means the E means that. Okay. So yeah, so E stand for exponent. Okay. And then so that's a equation that you that's program that solves that equation, right? So you can move on, you guys can run it. Okay. So here's a question. So do we so we already talk about integers, right? What is the limit of integers that we can have in Python? I mean, well, in reality, we don't have limits, right? But in coding, there's a limit. Okay. So I mean, for example, if you take C language, right? There are certain type of integer types, and then depending on that type, there's the range, right? So for example, some integers in C program, the range is negative 255 to positive 256, right? So it's really narrow, right? and then there's another one little bit higher, another one little bit higher. In Python, we don't have that. In Python, we just have integers. Okay, but my question is there a range or is there a limitation as to what we can use as the whole range? Anyone? I think you have, it's relevant what you are saying, but it's not the answer, but it's related. Yeah. Well, oh, it's okay. So let me make it more clear. Oh, there's no limit. Is there a limit or there's no limit? If there's no limit, I mean, there has to have a limit at the end, right? And what is that limit? I think that's what you are pointing probably.
I mean, the memory must just say, like, look,
Yeah, there you go. So basically, yeah. So I think she had the same idea. So there's no range set by the language for integers in Python. So then obviously it should be the memory, right? So memory, as long as the memory support the value to store it in the memory, you can have that integer in your code. So there's no set range from the language syntax or language. But that's not the case for floating point numbers. There's a range for floating point numbers, and this is the minimum. Okay, and this is the maximum. Okay, and if you can try that, and it's important. If we try to go beyond that range, well, the code wouldn't work. It's a runtime error now, because it's not a syntax error, but code runs and then it see the value it cannot support, and then it goes gives you that error, right? So it's an overflow error. Okay, so let's try to recreate that overflow error. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this and let's try this code in Chrome. Okay, and you guys should follow me. Okay, all right. So this is to the power 256. So we'll get that, and then let's try this. Okay, and you got those numbers, right? So 2 to the power of 256. You can see that it's a huge number, right? Probably we don't have I don't know, maybe particles in the universe. Maybe we have even less. I don't know, right? So and then second one also worked, right? But the third one, so our code ran, right? It's tried to run, and it's a runtime error, and it's a particular runtime error is overflow error because it's not supported, right? So we bend beyond. So why this is important?
so you don't make that mistake.
Yeah, and then there could be like you are doing a serious thing, like for example, it's the rocket controller, right? And then you are calculating something that's really important for the altitude calculation, which critically depend on the things that it's other things, right? So, well, if it face this kind of a error, right, and then the program crash, the controller crash, right, that could well be the rocket crash, right? And it's actually happened in the history of coding. Okay, so there were actually disasters, and you guys know, right? Boeing had a issue with code, right? And sensors, right? So all of those, right? So um, so yeah, this is a big deal actually. Okay, so especially like Python is rather safe, but for example, C language, like let's say for example, use a shorter range, like for example 256 to negative 256 to positive 256 the range, but it goes beyond that. So you didn't use the proper data type, now your rocket crash. It's actually happened in the history. Okay, so I have probably we should watch that video in the interval. Okay, So all right. So, but Python is rather safe in that sense. I mean, it has really big range for floating point numbers, and also integers. The memory is the last determination. Okay. So, all right. So the way we can manipulate, I think we already discussed in week 4 actually this topic, right? But this is a repeat kind of. So if you want to, for example, if we take, let's do it over here, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna go over here. So let's take, I'm gonna import math, and then I'm going to print the pi's value. Okay, so this is how you print it. So math dot, right, and then pi, right? So pi, and then that's, it's a value, so it's not a function, it's a value, so it's just pi. Okay, and then you print it, you get the pi's value. Let's say that you wanted to print the pi's value, but you want to round it. Okay, so that we call floating point, sorry, formatted output. Okay, so here's how you write it. Okay, so I'm gonna print it side by side. So it's actually an f string, right? So that's what we have over here, right? So sorry. So start off with f, we call is a formatted string. That's f stand for that, f in formatted string. So that's f is stand for that. So this is syntax notation, okay? And then it either has to have double quotation or single quotation, okay? So so I'm gonna use these. So like this, okay, and before that f, right, and then in, like, we can follow this. If you want any thing to print in there, you can put it there. But if it is a variable like this one, okay, so you have to use that variable. So variables should be in curly bracket. Okay, so I'm gonna put a curly bracket and put math.py in there. Okay, and then colon. So now I can specify how many decimals I want to points I want to round. So let's say I want to round this to get 3.1416, right? So I'm gonna, so that's 1 2 3 4. I'm gonna put 4. So dot 4 and f. Okay, so let me check whether if I got it right. Yeah, okay, all right. So this is saying that basically print math.pi's value and round it for 4 decimals, right, points. Okay, so this f means it's a floating point number. Okay, and this dot means, okay, this many decimal point after. Okay, so let's run this one. So you've got that one, right? See, that's rounded. So we have 5 here, right? But because we have 9 behind, it got rounded to 6. Okay, and that's how you actually print. But here's my other question: what is the type of that value?
It's a float, it's an individual.
Type, is it an integer or floating point number or string? Anyone? It's a floating point number. Yeah, right. So this is a floating point number. So my question is, what is the type of this, right? So let's check that one as well, right? So how do we check the type? Yeah, it's a type function, right? So type, and right, so type, all right, all right. Is it float? No, right? It's a string. And that's why we call it formatted string, right? It's a formatted string. And here's the revelation, right? It's not a number anymore. It's actually a string because it's a formatted string. So let's say you wanted the rounded value back. What do we do then? Yeah, we send it back to float function to get it, right. So we can do this actually, right. So here's that one. So I'm gonna take this one, okay, and then put it over here and then check the type again. But here I'm gonna use float and do this. Let's see, yeah, right here. Okay, so that's the float now. Okay, so I put the whole thing back into float and then check the type. It's now float. Okay, so make sure. So sometimes you may tend to use a formatted string to round a value and then use it in a calculation. Now it doesn't work because it's a string, right? So you have to make sure it actually works. There are easier ways actually. Okay, in math module there are easy functions to, you don't have to go that far to get the rounded floating point value. Okay, math module has them. Let's check that. How do you check the attributes from a module? dir function, right? Okay, so if you print dir and then math, right? So it will actually print you all the content inside the math module, right? And there's round some actually there should be something for round. Yeah, it's right here. One is this one, right? So flow means you round towards 0. Is it 0 or negative infinity? I think it's 0. Richard, do you know the flow's rounding? Is it towards 0 or negative infinity? Flow function. I I think it's towards negative infinity, but you guys can check. And then ceiling, the ceiling, right? So ceiling function. So this is this one, ceiling, right here. It's actually round towards positive infinity. Okay, so the flow, okay, negative infinity, okay, yeah, right. So because yeah, it has to be that way, right? Otherwise, for if you are rounding -1, then it's round towards 0, you are actually ceiling, right? Because it's 0 is the higher value if you compare it with the negative number, right? Yeah, it has to be negative infinity. Yeah. Okay, so and there's a built-in function as well. There's the built-in function called round, and you can use that one as well. Okay, all right. So let's go back. Let's quickly do this one, guys. The numeric type floating points. Okay, the reciprocal of input area is 1 over input area. The following program intends to read floating point value from input and output the reciprocal. But the code contains an error when reading from input. Find and fix the error. Okay, so let's run it as it is and then see what the error is. All right, so value error, invalid literal for int with base 10. This, okay. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So why is that way? Because let's see. So let's see. Okay, yeah. So for int, yeah. So we are basically it's right here, right? So we are inputting, I think, a floating point value, right? So it's now struggling to convert it to an integer, right? So what we should have over here, float, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's try that. All right, there you go. Okay. So the reason is, the value is less than 1, so we cannot actually pass that from the keyboard, and then ask it to make it an input, int value. Okay. All right. All right. Arithmetic expressions. We have been using already this, right? So we kind of oops, revisiting it. Okay. So there are a bunch of arithmetic operators: plus, subtraction, multiplication, division, and then the power. There's one more we're going to learn later, right? The modulo one, the remainder operator, right? So remember we did the remainder operation. Did we do that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was in
Yeah, in module 2, right? Is
I
it?
saw it recently. I don't know if it was. It might have been in module 2.
Maybe. Yeah, probably. Yep. I'm not sure. Yeah, or probably something else. I thought we use it in the binary calculation. Probably not. Okay. Um, so we use the summation for adding, right? As well as if you want, you can actually put that plus the by default if the number is positive, the sign in front of that number is positive, right? And we don't write it, right? You can also write it as well, like, if you want, right? So for example, like this, right? So x equals 10, right? And then you can print, let me write it this way, plus x, right? And it's still 10, right? So we usually don't write this plus sign in front, right? So I would say like this, like, we don't need a variable name, just, like this, and then plus 10, right? It'll just print 10, right? So but for negative, right, if you do the same, right? So for example, negative 10, right, it'll be negative, right? So you can change the sign that way. Okay. So this is an operation. All right, so this, we're going to go back to when actually, yeah, I think we discussed this already. How many operands do we have for this operator?
I mean, there's addition and there's.
No. Okay, so I think we didn't discuss that. Okay, I'll take it back. Okay, so this is we are actually, this is an operator, right? So that we know, right? Okay, so I am operating this on a value. Okay, so this is the operator, and then the value that the operator operates on is called the operand. Okay, so this is the operand, and this is the operator. Okay, so simply if I take, like, let's say 10 plus 20, right? Basically this plus adds basically these two values, right? So these two are operands. Okay, and this is the operator, and these are really important terminology, guys. Okay, all right. how many operands do we have here? 2. So for that reason, this plus here we call a binary operator, because binary means 2, right? So by 2, right? So then what do we call this operation over here? It's 1, right? So what is the code name for 1?
Mono.
Binary unary. Okay, so unary is the code name. So this is this in right here. Sorry, I made a mistake there. So this plus is actually a unary operation. So this operation is a unary operation. Okay, just one operator involved. Okay, so for if an operation involves 3 operands, we call them ternary, right? So I think that's all. Okay, ternary, 3 operands are
So
involved.
it could go up to 4 or 5.
I think I don't see I don't see it in Python though. Yeah, but there may be code names for those as well.
Because
Honestly, I don't know.
once you simplify it, you could possibly be adding or subtracting, dividing, multiplying. So
Yeah, but it has to be a single. So don't mix up with like having some plus and no, because now we have 2
so that
plus
doesn't
operation. That doesn't count. Yeah,
Okay.
this is not ternary. No.
Because they're both plus.
Yeah, yeah, they're both plus. So operation is just still summation of 2 numbers. So it's summation in that particular purpose. Plus is a binary operation. Okay, so this is a binary operation. This is a unary operation, but the same plus operator there. Okay, so these are terminology. Okay, so sometimes in interviews this comes up, like they test your memory on those.
So if you added like an extra like -10, so now you does it matter like that the operations do not match?
We're gonna get into that. That's a good point. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. Okay, so all right. So and then again, right? So for negation means that this reversal of the sign. Okay, so that's negation. For that also we use the same symbol. Okay, so so sometimes its symbol is same, but the utility is different. Okay, all right, and then we have division, and then we have integer division as well. We learn that later. We have power operator. So let's check on those. So I'm going to quickly do it over here. So let's try the, we know division and other stuff, so we can try the power. Let's say I want 2 to the power 4. So 2 to the power 4, right? So it's 16, right? So it's also a binary operator, right? Because we have 2 operand. It's the one operand 1, the operand 2. Okay, all right. So understanding what are operands and what are operators is really important to to be able to properly read code. Okay, all right. Remove the tab. All right, so let's try. Okay, so this is the important topic, and that's where we are coming to your point now. Okay, all right. So and in mathematics we follow a certain order when we actually do a math expression, right? And in Python also pretty much we are going to cover, follow the same rules, at least for mathematics, like doing mathematics expression in Python. Okay, so we know that if we see something in brackets, we first do that in that first, right? So for example, right, so in math also, right, if I have let's say like right, so something like this, right, it's like 20 minus 9, right, and then times let's say 3, right. So we don't, you know, multiply this and do the subtraction, no, right. We first do this also in mathematics, right. So this is going to be 33, right. So not negative something, right. So because, well, automatically the parenthesis has the highest precedence, okay. So we do that first and then do the multiplication from that value, okay. So in that regard, with respect to star operator here, tell me what are the operands?
11 and 3.
Yes, okay. So because we execute this and this whole value is going to be the operand for the multiplication, right. Okay. So yeah, that's how it should work, okay. So let's go back over here. And there's some explanation, okay. And then so unary means the negation, just the unary negation one, okay. And then this is basically in this table, it shows you the order of the precedence. It's actually, it goes up from bottom to top, okay. That means we do this first and then do this and then do this, do this and do this. If we have all of these in a single expression, we go this order from top to bottom, okay. All right, let's say we have a single math expression that we have all of these and then we actually execute it in this order, okay. It's really important, okay. So and there is a shortened table, all right. Let's take a look at the big table from Python, okay. So the search key is Python operator precedence. Okay. I made a spelling mistake there. Okay. All right, and we'll go check the it's in here. Yeah, here. Okay. All right. So and then we go all the way down. So I'm going to show you where it is. We'll see a table. Not this one. It's at the very bottom. Yeah, this one. Okay. All right. And you can see that parenthesis is the highest, and then you have something else in between because we are not covering all of them in this class, right. But you can see the power is over here after that, and then division, multiplication, and this is actually called integer division, and this is called modulo. We will learn both of them later. And then in plus minus, and then we have a bunch of others, okay. And then we'll come to this one in module 9 actually in branching, okay. So but this is the table, okay. So operator precedence in the language, okay. Always use this one, not from other resources. This table actually the most explicit one, okay. So basically the order of operation is top to bottom as shown in this table, okay. So what does this mean basically, right? So it means basically if you have, let's say, parenthesis and this operator in a single expression, you do this first and then use this one, okay, because we following that order, right? Okay. And what does this means? We have a whole bunch of them in a single line. So that means left to right, basically they all have equal precedence. So for example, multiplication, division, integer division, modulo, all three have equal precedence. So that means when we evaluate an expression with multiple of them in a single expression, we go from left to right. Okay, the left to right rule. There's only one exception, that is actually, if you read this one, the power operator. Okay, so that works right to left. Okay, so that's the only exception. Okay, and I think we have that specified over here, probably. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's do one of these exercises, guys. So let's do this one. It says type the program's output. So this one is x is 13, 13 plus 2 is 15, right? Likewise. All right, so x is 5, x plus 5 plus 3 is 8. Oh, all right, after that, okay. So let's try again. That's not helping from Cybook, right? But you can read the error like down below. They mentioned that, right? Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah. All right. So next one. So x is 11, x minus 3. So I think probably we'll go up to the 6. We'll get the more complex ones, right? So this is 8 then. Come on. Can I go? Can I skip? No, right? Okay, it's actually waiting now. So for 28. Okay. All right. So this one 9. What's happening there? Oh, 8. So all right. So silly mistake. Yeah. So I don't know. There's no way to go back, right? Okay. So we're gonna go. All right. So this is 2 to the 2, right? So this should be 4. Okay. All right. This one. I wanted to get here. What's the answer? This one is obvious, right? So we first do x plus 8, right? That's going to be 9, right? Because why we do this first? And parentheses have higher precedence over multiplication, right? So we do this first. So add 1 to 8, so 9 times 3, 27, right? Oh, and then you have to print both, right? Okay, so yeah, 1 comma and then space like this. Oh man, okay, so oh, no commas, okay. Okay, so let's go to next anyway. This one, print x is 2 and then y is going to be 11 times 3, right? 33. Is that the one? Yeah. Okay. This one. So this is the, I wanted to get into this one actually. Which operator do we do first? So which parenthesis do we do first?
We do 1 plus 3. Yeah, x plus 3.
No. We go left to right, right? See the rule is left to right rule, right? So we have both 2 parentheses in 2 locations. So we go from this end, right? So this basically we consider in this one. So now we are inside and then we do this one. Okay. So this one times 2, right? So basically so x plus, so 4 times 2, right? So this is going to be 8, right? Okay. So the thing is, right, we are still going from left to right, but right, when we see this 2 and then the other one in parenthesis, we do this 1 then, right? Because again, that's a precedence rule.
But how do we know that it's 4 until we add 1 to 3?
Yeah, so again, right, so we start with this one, right? So we go from left to right, we see 2 times parenthesis. So now you take x value and then do this first, right? So now we have 4. So you can now multiply 2 times 4, right? So this whole thing become 8, right? And then add 4. So 12, right? So 12 and no, sorry, 1 and 12, right? Okay. All right. All right. So there are more complicated ones. I think you guys probably have it up on top. Okay. All right. It's 12. Let's get our break, guys. Okay. So be here around 12:06. Okay, guys, we're gonna watch this video, which is it's in module 6, guys. This is the one I just published it. This is a short video prioritizing your task. Let's quickly watch it. Okay, so we have been discussing on expressions already, right? So there are some style guides, right? So in expressions, when you like you can see this one, right? Right here, x coordinate equals negative y coordinate, and you can see that this minus sign, you don't put a space, right? So the unary minus, you should not put a space between the operator and the value operand. Okay, but usually in math expression, like this one, right, you put a space in between and then between operands and operators, right? So it's a style guidance. Okay, and make sure to follow those rules, because to make it to habits, right, you have to do them, you have to write the way according to the style, right? So and then that include at code check as well. Okay, so follow those rules. Okay, it's like it's kind of like the ways we write math, actual math in a paper too, right? We don't write them cramp up, right? So we put spaces between the signs, kind of similar. Okay, all right, and we already encountered these, right? Compound operators. Okay, and the operation is called like compounding. Okay, so it's basically we for example, if it is plus equals, right, so we add whatever that value and then reassign the new value, new resulting value to the same variable. And for example, this one, right, so we are incrementing age by 1, and here we are decrementing or subtracting age by 1, and here we are multiplying age by 1, right, likewise. Okay, so all of these individual math operators has the corresponding compound operator as well. Okay, and then this is the equivalent expression. Okay, so age equals age plus 1, so this is equals this whole operation. Okay, all right. So then let me ask, so the operator plus equals, is it a binary operator or unary or ternary?
Isn't binary because you have
Yeah, so,
operand and then how much
yeah. So you can think of it as a binary operator, right? It's still there's a two operands. Okay. All right. Okay. So so let's go. All right. So we're going to start division and modulo. Okay. All right. So division operator, we know what it does, right? So it's actually result in a floating point number. Okay. So even though we use integers, right? So for example, right? So if we take two integers, let's say 20 divided by 40, right? Right. And if we take the type of it, okay, okay, even though you divide two integers, and even though, well, I'm going to do this way, let's say 200 divided by 40. Okay, so let's check the type of it. It's still a float. Okay, even though the answer looks like an integer, right? Like in this case 5, right? So the resulting value, because it's a division, is actually a floating point number. Okay, all right. So okay, and there's integer division. So so we use double symbol, division symbol. So we call it so this is called floating point division. Okay, and this is called integer division. Okay, so let's check the type of that. So I'm going to use this. Oh, sorry. And then type. So I'm going to print. Let's print both. Oh, and then integer division. Okay. Oops. What is it? Oh, I think I missed the parenthesis, right? Okay. All right. And you can see that the first one is floating point, and the other one is integer. Okay. This one. So it's an integer division. Okay. All right. All right. What is modulo? Yes.
remainder?
Yeah, it's a remainder operator, right? So basically, when you divide two numbers, right, and if it's not evenly divisible, right, then there's a leftover, right? So we call that the remainder, and there's a specific programming language operator usually to get that value, because this operation is really common in computing. Okay, so I mean we don't in regular arithmetic we don't usually use that remainder that much, right? But in coding there are a lot of usage, and you'll see as we move on you'll see those there's a lot of usage. So basically it's good to have an operator symbol for that, and then it's actually the percentage mark. So it's not a percentage operator. Okay, so it gives you the remainder. Okay, so let's quickly try that. So let's say print 10 modulo 3. So what should I get then?
3 remainder 1.
Yeah, so 1, right? When you divide 10 by 3,
Just
right?
the 1.
So there are whole 3 3s in 9. So what's left with 1, right? So you get 1. Okay, so that's what we call the remainder. Okay, all right. So what do we call, so when you divide 10 by 3, 3 whole 3's there, right? What do we call that? And there's a technical name for that value.
That's the quotient.
Yeah, that's the quotient, right? So quotient plus the remainder equals the
Dividend.
dividend. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's go. All right, so I think, is this a challenge activity? No. Okay. All right, so this one is really one common usage to calculate the digits, right, of a number, those things. All right, so let's do see how many. Let's do this one together, guys. Okay, so integers, total budget and waste cost are read from input. The waste cost to make and a budget is given by total budget. Assign remaining budget with the remaining budget after making as many vases as possible. Okay. So what do we have to do? So remaining budget equals, what's the answer, guys?
It's going to be the total budget.
Budget
Modulo.
modulo waste cost. Yeah. So basically this was what's left. Once you use the budget, you make vases, right? And then there's a limit, right? And then there's the rest of the budget, what's left, and that's gonna give you from the remainder. Okay, so this is gonna be the answer. Okay. Okay. All right. So there are additional practice. You guys should do it. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go over the lab real quick. Okay. So I modified all of these iBook labs into our this template. So okay. So this is the template. I think it's the so it's basically driving cost calculator, right? So you get input and you will have to use this way of formatting as well. You input gas mileage, cost of gas, and then the miles driven. So 3 inputs, and return the cost of gas. Okay. So and then these are the template given to you. Okay, and you can see that, right? These are kind of hints, right? So these are all inputs. Okay, so that means you have to collect them in the main program. And this example, line 4, tells you how to do it. That means you have to follow this pattern to collect this one and this one too. Okay, and then over here, once you collect all 3 inputs, and then call this function for those inputs right here. That's it. Okay, so that's your Scilab, guys. Okay, so I have already given some helpful information in here. This should help you because it's going to tell you these are your inputs and they are coming, and this tells you they should come in as inputs like this. Guys, in SciBook, you guys should not put a prompt to your input, right? You guys should know that now, by now. All right. So let me repeat. In SciBook, you are not allowed to use a prompt inside your input because the way they have set up their testing, if you put a prompt, it's going to screw up the whole thing.
So no strings.
No, yeah. So no prompt So we call this the prompt, right? You can say, okay, enter mileage, right? Something like that, right? Right, something like that, right? So no, just leave it empty. Okay. You remember we learned that, okay, when you use input function, you better put a prompt so that you see what it's asking, right? But in this case, don't use. Okay. So leave it like this, input, and second one, let's say cost, and input, third one mileage, and input. Okay. All right. So that's the Cybook. Oh, that's it. We have basically done this module. Okay. So I'm going to go over real quick on, sorry, that's the other class, guys. On things, the other two things. Okay. This one I already talked about that, I think, didn't I? Yeah. Wait, no. Okay. So this one, the graded discussion. Okay. So oh no, not that one. Sorry, it's still loading. Okay. So you pick, I think two. Did I ask two or one? One of the following operations. Okay. So pick one of the operation. Okay, and demonstrate it for the class. Okay. So and then you have to make a post out of it, and then I have given you how to do that over here. Okay. So you can use Compile Explorer and then do it there. Okay. So it's a kind of a IDE, right? So you can code and bookmark those code. So they give you, like, unique, and you can use this template. Okay, and they give you actually unique URLs. And here's how you save it, guys. Okay, so imagine you coded this one. Okay, and then to save this one for yourself, here's what you should do. Click on this share. All right, click on short link. All right, and you will get this short link. Right, and you will see that same short link, now the URL got updated, right? So what you can do is, if you want, you can copy this to share with someone. For example, this class, definitely make it, you bookmark it. That's how you save it. Okay, so like this, right? So give it a good name that make it really specific, and then save. Okay, so and if, let's say, you want to download this code, click right here, right? And then file system, and then actually yeah, load and save. So click on save to file. That's it. That's how you save code. Okay, so you can use this tool. This is not an IDE, it's a compiler explorer. As it name sound, you can check compilers, but by doing so, automatically they have given an IDE for you guys to run code. Okay, so you can run other code as well. It's a great tool actually. There are like 70 languages over here. Okay, all right. So yeah, that's that. And then make a post, and once you post yours, you will see others and reply to at least one student. Okay, all right. So that's that. Some of you guys have already done it. The programming assignment is Muni writers if you already know what to do, right? Okay, all right. So with that, let's go to our topic today, which is this yeah, random popping circles. This is a cool one. I just published it. Okay, it's in module 6. Yeah, it's in module 6, guys. Random popping circles. The idea is this. So let me run my already existing code. Yeah, okay, this one. Okay, so if you run this code, you will see, like, popping circles like this in different colors. Okay, that means these are random, right? So the location is random. So, go to point x comma y is random, the radius is random, color also random. Okay. I have shown you over here how to get this random number. Okay. So, I'm going to quickly take this, copy this code. Okay. So, let us say it is a radius that you want to get the random radius. Okay. Because we haven't gone over random module properly, right? That's why I'm giving you this. Okay. So, you will first need to import what? To use random number, to get a random number, you want to import what? Random module, right? So, import random, right? And then let us say we run this one, and let us say I want the radius in between 50 and 100, let us say 30 and 100. So, this is radius, okay, just a number, right? And then if I run this, I got 57 random. If you run it again, you get something different. It's random, right? 45, but you will make sure you will get that number between this 30 and 100, both inclusive. That means 100 can be a possibility, 30 also can be a possibility. Okay. So, you will need this value, random value, for radiuses, go to xy points, and also for color. Color you will have to figure out because this is a number, right? Okay. So, do not use this tool. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. When you do so, yeah, now you can.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, it's. I have seen some students trying Python like turtle in the text mode. So, yeah. All right. So, take a look in the hope I can have this. Take a look in the Python turtle documentation on how to make the color also random. Okay. All right. So, that's extra credit. Where is this? Where was that?
What was your question?
My oh, it's gone. It was there's, I think it's Bryce Canyon, right? National Park. The picture. This is probably in Albuquerque. Okay. This one, sorry. Okay, right here. See that the extra credit one? It's you have to make the color also random. Okay. So that's it. Okay, guys. So this is kind of a example code that you will be using. For example, radius equal random this. Okay. So this could be just your radius for the circle, something like this. Okay. So radius going to be randomly whatever that value. Okay. Got it? Okay. And xy points, because you can see that right in my sample run, the starting point of the drawing of the circle is also random. That's why it's actually popping here and there. Color is random, and then the size of the circle also random, right? So that's it. The rest we already know. Okay, this one right here. Okay. Okay. Team up, and then let's get the plan done. Okay. Got it? Yeah.
Somewhat. But not really.
Oh, yes.
I'm having a bad input error.
Okay,
and
let's see.
Having trouble with the indentation. It keeps defaulting to this indentation,
Okay.
and then when I put it back, I get a bad input.
Oh, let's check. Line 55. So let's do this. But you did the did this as well, right?
Uh-huh.
And then this one.
Like,
Oh, it goes.
indents that far, but that doesn't happen for this line.
Yeah.
So I tried rewriting this line and
Okay,
it
let me.
stayed the same. Maybe I,
Probably it's an error in here.
oh, I didn't close the bracket.
Yeah, but that's why. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, yeah. So now it should work. Yeah. Sometimes doesn't. It's not that explicit on telling you what is there. It's 58 now. Let's see what it is. Yeah, it's also here. See, you didn't close the bracket. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. 61. Let's see. 61. Oh, you have two. That's why. You can just delete. You have two. Oh, okay. So no, sorry. I get back. I get it back. Yeah. Take it back. There you go. Oh,
It's still.
oh. Let's do this one. Like right here. I think maybe this one. This one. Oh no, it goes to the correct place, right? Awesome. Right, 61. Hmm. Oh, I am not that used to Max. Okay, so oh, it should be double. Yeah, so we will learn that operator later. Okay, good. You got it. Run again. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. And you can, if you want, you can limit the range further as well, right? Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
So, yeah, and then you the other stuff like adding a color, and then
Can I just do that using like, is it hex?
yeah, like one knowledge you need is not we haven't there yet in this class. We will learn it in the next type module 8. But other one you can Google it actually. Let's say Python turtles, and then let's go to documentation. Yeah, that one. And scroll down. Let's go to color and fill color one. All right, so let's go up. Yeah, so yeah, fill color. Let's see. Let's go to it's actually the color one. So fill color one. Let's see. It's probably up. Yeah, there you go, right here. See the color? See RGB, these are numeric values, right? So you can actually pick between the range, I think it's 256, 0 to 255 RGB values. So you can pick them randomly, and also sometimes the numbers coming really close and you will not see that much of a difference in colors. So if you want, you can put a gap between the random numbers. So the way to do that is actually um, basically it's actually yeah, it's the other function, the rand range. There's another random number function called rand range. So if you try that one, you can put a range. Okay, give me random numbers in steps of 10, right? Like for example, if you put 10 as a range parameter, you will get 100, 20, 30, up to let's say 100 in steps of 10. Like you can try that out. So can you go to? Do you have somewhere to code like like Colab or something? Or you can use no. You can go to terminal. Go to terminal. Yeah. So yeah, it's Python already there, right? So import random, and then you can just type random dot rand range, and range. Let's say like bracket, and then let's say 10 and 100, and I say no, before that comma 5. So 5 is going to be the step value. Close and run it. So you got 15, right? So run it again. 645. So the random number you'll have a step value. So you can put the gap so that the color values will be kind of different. Okay, got it? Yeah. So you're welcome. And then I suggest create a different function using this.
For the color?
Yeah, to make this one also one function, right? So you call it in a different function, right? All right, good.